Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Cornbread Trucker here, coming to you from Seymour, Indiana. Dropped a trailer off across the way there over at Walmart. Picked up another trailer, and basically I had like an hour and a half left that I could drive the day, so I just came on over here to this TA Express, and just gonna chill out here. I may actually sit here the weekend. They sent me one load that would have taken me up to Duluth, Minnesota, that did not pay well, and I wouldn't pick up till late tomorrow night anyways. So, you know, I've not ran up there with Prime. I don't know what there is to pick up over there. There might be right in a good pickup area, but running up there, you know, I figured at that point, I mean, there should be some good loads, you know, maybe come Monday around this area, and I don't mind deadheading a little bit to pick up a good load. And so I turned it down, and he told me, well, we ain't got no freight, you may sit there till Monday. And that's honestly, that's fine. I want to work, but you know, I want something that's gonna, the last two loads, that load coming out of Florida wasn't a bad paying load, it was just short, and some time spent on that, you know, because it had the extra pickup, and then go and deliver it later in the day. You know, I had to burn a lot of time there. That so and then they just sent another one that would have gone to Stockton, California, but it paid worse per mile than the one going to Duluth. But I could have picked it up right away tomorrow when my 10-hour break was up. But again, it just didn't pay good. So I set money back. I've got money in my e-fund. I've got money in my business account. You know, when freight was good, you know, I really put some money away, and so I'm just going to wait. Maybe something else will pop up, but I am willing to sit here until Monday and get my fleet manager back in, and, you know, see what planning gets then. So we'll see how that goes. So, talk about a few things. So one, when I picked up the trailer that I dropped over at the Walmart, it was a Walmart to Walmart, and I picked it up down in can't even think of the name of the town, down by Mobile. And when I did my inspection on the trailer, I had noticed on the passenger side, very rear axle, on the left side of the rotor, the brake pad was missing. There was a gap in there about so. You know, so missing part of the pad. I stuck my finger down in there. You couldn't see it, but I thought I felt pad, and I think I'll attach the photos right to it. On it, and then I ended up you know, I got a hold of Road Assist and sent him the photos, or the photo at the time, and told him I was going to head out till they figured out where they wanted me to take it to. And well, he ended up getting busy, so I got to Greenwood and Alabama to the Loves. They got a, you know, service center there. So spoke with, got back on the phone with Road Assist, and he had taken a look at the photo, and he said, yeah, definitely, you know, let's get it replaced. And so they ended up on that one axle on both sides. They replaced the pads on that. Was the trailer dropped off there? I don't know. I mean, like that, most likely it was. Could it have came out? Could it have, probably was already kind of broke out. I've kind of seen that happen before. When the yard dog was around, maybe it fell out then. It doesn't, there's no point in blame game or anything like that. It is what it is, and it's, could I have ran with it and brought it all the way up? Well, I didn't get inspected afterwards, but, had I not stopped to get it, maybe I would have got inspected. I don't know, but I don't want to pay a ticket. I don't need that. And it's better to have, good working brakes. So now that trailer's fixed, the next person don't have to worry about it. I was blessed. It didn't take long to get it done. So didn't really affect me too much on time. I wouldn't have gone down the road too much further anyways. I probably would have just went ahead and stopped. I didn't even have to drop that load till tomorrow. And I got it off today, so not a bad deal. Got that fixed. I'll be sure and put the photos on when I load this video up to YouTube. So kind of taken back a little bit by something. They had the drivers meeting, and I've kind of been a little reserved on whether I wanted to discuss it or not till I kind of thought more about it. And I also kind of wanted to, I'll be honest, I wanted to kind of hear maybe what some other people had to say about it. I really like to talk to my fleet manager about it some. Now, here's the thing. When I switched to flatbed, because I was brand new to flatbed, I wasn't a certified trainer. They took me off of that status. And I've talked about that in my videos. Now that I'm back over on the reefer side, I don't know if they've moved me back over to a trainer status or if I need to go recertify. But I wasn't planning on doing anything till maybe, any training till maybe after May. I've thought about it a little bit, but May, be about May probably. Because I've got some things going on that I'm going to be going through the house. And so, and some thoughts I had, when it was the 30,000 miles, I could run a student, get the student through their training, and then I can take a week off after they upgrade, went in for upgrade. The 50,000 mile thing kind of makes me feel like, that I may end up wanting to, possibly want some home time before they finish their training. And I mean, if that was the case before, I would have had to pay, if it's my choice and they wanted to work, it wasn't their deal. I'd probably been paying for their time off anyways. So, not unless they were the ones that wanted to go home, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure we'd have had to discuss it. Something had to been worked out. Sometimes Prime can pay for some of that. And I've had some mixed thoughts on some of that too. I know that Rob Lowe, he spends money and, that third-party testing and having those guys out there. So he's got some money invested into the training of it all. I know on the company side, they do some training. Some drivers do that. I'm not quite sure how that works out, but obviously Prime's paying for it. As far as lease, owner ops, they tell us kind of look at it as an investment. You can make money, you can lose money. And I know, again, the whole thing about, if you're doing it for the money, blah, 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 you shouldn't be training. Well, I've always felt, I personally enjoy training. I like seeing somebody succeed. And especially when, they've come out of a situation where they didn't make this kind of money before, and it makes a drastic impact on their lives, changes their lives. That is, that's what it's all about for me. But at the same time, you know, there's risks that I take. Not only just something with the truck, but your life. I mean, might be fine. You go to bed and you never wake up again. And that could happen with an experienced driver too. You know, but there are a lot of things that, you know, I will say that I find that trainees are probably more alert. But there's also the things that they don't know. They don't know what they don't know, and you can't put it all into them all in one session. You know, it takes time, and we all know this, that even after training, you're out here, you're learning all the time. You constantly learning new things and honing your skills, and there's just a lot of risk. And then, you know, for instance, I've been outside of the truck while a trainee was backing up, and trainee was struggling and got the clutch a little warm and didn't even realize that the alarm was going off and all that, and I ended up having to go to the shop. Luckily, they were able to do an update, transmission update, solve the problem. I kind of feel like it's a little more touchy sometimes now than it was before, but that was downtime, you know, waiting to get in. Now that's the bad thing about Peterbilt. You know, I had to wait to get into the shop for that, but it wasn't horrible. Ended up not costing me anything but downtime. Yeah, it was even warranty on the work, so software update on that. But you know, there's a lot of risk there, and you know, you still got a business to run. When freight kind of gets like it is now, you know, I had to question whether I wanted to do any training anyways, you know, and so I wasn't really disappointed when I went over the flatbed and couldn't train. I wouldn't have wanted to train at that time until I got, you know, my processes down with securing and tarping loads, and, you know, I was green to that, and I didn't want to train somebody till, I think they said about 6 months, but I don't know, you know, when I would have known when I felt comfortable with it, that I could be of help. I don't want to teach people bad habits and things of that nature, so you know, and I try to teach them the proper way to do logs, and then you know, I may talk about things that maybe there's ways you can maybe save on your clock a little bit, but I teach them the right legal way to do it. And then if they when they get on their own, they can do what they want. They're going to do what they want anyways. But you know, it's a business, and there's not a thing that I don't think that Rob Lowe does that he doesn't make money on. He may not make a killing, but, you know, I guarantee you when we lease trucks, he's making money off of that. You go buy something in that store, he's making money off of that. You go to the embroidery shop, he's making money off of that. And you buy food in that cafeteria, he's got a contractor doing that. But I guarantee you there's money being made there somewhere. You know, there's not a thing he's not doing that he's not making money. Now, running freight, sometimes does he take a loss? Yes, but I guarantee more times than not he's making money. And so with running freight, or with training, want to make money. I make up for it, you know, there's a lot of reasons to make up. There's nothing wrong with making money being a trainer, and nobody should try and shame anybody for it. It's a business. I'm teaching you something to help better your life, and there's nothing wrong with me or any other trainer from making money. Now, I do think that you're going to make money off of it. You need to be training, not just you having them drive down the road and never help them with their backing. Don't teach them anything about logs, how to use the app, you know. Matter of fact, about how to use your APU and how your APU charges your batteries. You know, you don't have to run the air conditioner and the heater just to charge your batteries. Obviously, you know, somebody wasn't trained in that. I see it on Facebook on Prime Uncensored all the time. Somebody talking about, you know, their APU. Somebody didn't take the time to show them. I wonder if you even take the time to show them how to, you know, check their APU hours and send that in. I just feel like those are things that need to be taught. Why is a reefer trailer made the way it is? You know, why are there slats in the floor? You know, why is the chute run all the way towards the back? You know, those are things that people coming in this industry don't know nothing about. Something to talk about, you know. A reefer just doesn't cool. It can warm too. There's just things that need to be discussed. I personally feel like those are things that need to be discussed, but I'm more than happy to do those things. I want to see you be as successful as you possibly can and have a great career, as however long that career is going to be. But I want to make money at it too. And so when I went to flatbed and they took me off this training thing, which I don't know, I haven't asked Braun and he hasn't asked me to train yet since I've been back, but I just got back. Maybe there was some messages going on to the trainers that were in the training pool at the time that this deal with pay was going to come up. So I was a little taken back yesterday, caught a little bit by surprise. I don't know if there was some discussion about it beforehand or not. But I was a little shocked, but then totally not surprised. And wasn't sure, and still not 100% sure how I feel about it. One of the things that was the way that they come about it, and like I said, I didn't even know that this was even coming up. I think kind of maybe set a little bad tone for me. And then the this thing about, you know, they mentioned something about them getting, you know, because they add 4 hours to it, and something about 16-hour days, and that's the standard in this industry. And the standard to me is 14 hours. That's the most I can work in a day, 14 hours. So I don't know where, maybe I misunderstood something. I know they kind of said, you know, they'll generally work this much, and then of course you had the 4 hours, and it wasn't really maybe coming up to that. But I don't know how you can call that a standard, because in this industry, because I can only work 14. So and then the pay rate, all that, it looked like it could possibly be $200-300 more. Not, it is a lot and it's not. And first off, they said something about maybe that would incentivize trainees to get out and work, or at least I've heard some people say that. And my thought is, if you want to come into this industry, you should already be motivated to want to work and learn, because you ain't learning nothing unless you're getting up and coming out here and working. Now, my trainees, you know, when they first start off, I don't expect them to run a full shift, but I've been blessed. My trainees can run a full shift right off the bat. So I was blessed. I had one trainee, I think was, and I took over. But for the most part, my trainees have been able to run their shift, and I ran my shift. When I'm out here making money. I'm not sitting around. I'm gonna get from point A to point B, and if there's gonna be some setting waiting to deliver a load, it's happening at point B. Or C if there's something in between, but I'm getting there. And if there's going to be setting, it's going to be there. And if I can deliver early, I'm delivering early, and I'm moving on to the next load. So But I'm out here to make money. I'm out here to help them get their miles as fast as possible, and also give them as much training as possible. I have set up scenarios to talk about split clocks, personal conveyance. You know, I make sure that I try and give them, if anything, at least plant a seed in their head, you know, that maybe they might think about later on. And then I always offer them and let them know that I am available. Training stops whenever they stop calling. And I mean that. You got a question, call me, text me, whatever. And you know, I've had my trainees call me, text me. My first trainee, who has been doing a great job out there, been very proud of. He doesn't call me as much anymore. Matter of fact, he hasn't called me in a while. I had to send him a text and ask him how he was doing. But he did. He would call me. You know, one of the first things when he first got on the road, and, you know, fleet manager told me he was doing a really good job, and I had spoke to him. You know, he talked about how I had always told him that clock is his money, and that he needed to pay attention to how he managed that clock and stuff, and that's what he did. And, you know, it was working well, and he gave me a lot of praise for that, for taking the time to show that to him. And so, you know, I'm just a big believer in if you're going to train somebody, you need to train them, but I'm going to make money. And if I'm not making money, then I have to think about whether it's worth training. Freight's not good right now. I ain't saying, I've seen worse freight than this back in the 90s. So, you know, can things get worse? Sure. There's some people think it's going to get worse. Some think it's going to stay about the same. Some think it's going to get better. I don't know. I'm no crystal ball on it, but you know, so I don't know where. I'm still going to sit back and think about it. I want to talk to my fleet manager. You know, he said something in the meeting that they've talked to fleet managers and kind of trying to work things out with that. I don't know what they meant. I don't know if they meant that they're going to try and get trainers some better loads. Sometimes I felt like, you know, when I was having to do a lot of setting with the trainee in my truck, I felt like, and I mean a lot of setting, I felt like, personally, for a brief moment, I felt like, you know, if we're going to train, they should, you know, try and give us some better loads. And then you know, the reality of it isn't fair. For just because I'm training doesn't mean that, you know, the husband-wife team over there should get the worst load because I'm training. That's not fair. It's just not. So I know at moments I kind of feel that way, but those are, you know, that's, I get over that pretty quick. But I will say this, and I guess I'm saying all this to say this one thing. I understand Rob has an investment in this, but I personally feel like, because we got 50,000 miles now, if a trainer wants to go home for a week, because here's the thing, it is an investment on the trainer's part, and the trainer may or may not make any money, but you know what, that's just a small investment. That's only for a short period of time. Who's going to make an investment? Who's making the investment and making money off of them for the long period of time? If that trainee comes on board and stays on board, leases a truck, Rob's making money, runs freight, Rob's making money. Whose investment is it? Maybe Prime needs to be able to say, hey, you know what, when you want to take that week off, we'll pay that driver. We'll pay that trainee, and not put it on the driver. You know, we already set and wait for loads. Lord knows what happens when you get a Tyson load, and it ain't just Tyson, and not every time. You know, there's some Tyson plants that work out just great. Some loads and some plants do better than others. Different product, man. It seems to me maybe it's feel free to chime in. But it seems like if it's just, you know, like chicken pieces, you know, it seems like I'm always waiting. Like, you get that window that what you accept the load on says you'll pick up between here and here, and you get there and they're like, oh no, it ain't gonna be ready till drop dead time, which means that gives you just enough time to get there, and that may be a day later. I don't understand why there's that miscommunication there, what happens, but they're like, no, that's not the appointment, there wasn't no appointment, it's drop dead time. So you know, I think personally, you know, if you're going to ask the drivers to keep putting out more for your investment, because Rob, I'm talking to you right now, this is your investment too, because you're going to make money off of it in the long run. Us trainers just got that little opportunity to make money off of them. If it's TNT, you know, maybe, you know, if you bring them on board with Prime, you know, a little bit of money over a period of time. But TNT, PSD is a total investment, man. You ain't getting paid nothing. You're not paying them, but you got to get them, you know, PS, they got a trifecta to make any good. I mean, yeah, you're going to get some money off of it, but it's not that, it's nothing. I didn't find anything to get excited for, but I'd personally rather take somebody and teach them how to drive in the first place. Ernesto, man, that was my first trainee with Prime. He trifected. So I didn't train per se. I wasn't like a trainer per se, but I've trained people in the past. But so, you know, it we'll see how it goes. I'll see, you know, I'm gonna think about it some more. Like I said, I want to talk to my fleet manager, see what his thoughts are on things, and I know he's gonna sell it. He's gonna sell it, but I'm gonna at least listen to him. So doesn't mean I'm gonna buy it, but he's gonna be a salesman for Prime. Anyways, I'm gonna think about it for a little while. I've got time. Like I said, I ain't gonna really do anything till probably May. I mean, if the right circumstance came about, I may train before May, but you know, I've got a cruise coming up in April and be out for a little bit for that, and I need to be back at the end of March for something. So matter of fact, I think I'm gonna have to be back in May too, but that can be quick. I got a doctor's appointment in May. So that's been a long video. I guess something else in the drivers meeting, drive wise, I will say that it's been okay for me. It's kind of funny, as I didn't really notice a bunch of little popping up things for like exits or, you know, curves or whatever, that exits where I wasn't even going to get off at. I hadn't even noticed a lot of that. I think the only thing I did think I really noticed was one where I went and was passing a truck stop. Actually, I was going to get ready and pull into it anyways, but sent an alert that it was a high theft area. I pulled through that one. Man, it was packed. I got into the fuel lane, pulled up, and then went and got what I needed and jumped back in the truck and got out of there. But I noticed after I got unloaded and I was coming back by it, I didn't get that same alert. But today, you know, we had the meeting, and then I guess that was yesterday, and then today I noticed some pop-ups coming up that really had nothing to do with me, but it's fine. Don't bother me a whole lot. I think they're going to be working on that. Really, I didn't get a whole lot out of that. I know they talked about building relationships and stuff, which I think I have a pretty good relationship now with my fleet manager. I do want to talk to logs and road assist and even my payroll person. But I do feel like the fleet manager and I are on a pretty good page, and so anyway, so that's what's going on. That's kind of my thoughts. Any of you out there that's trainers, give me your thoughts. Anybody that's trainees, people that's coming to Prime, whatever, give me your thoughts. If you're interested in me training you, reach out to me. Let's have some conversations. Let's see if that might be a good fit. I still got some things to think about it, but I think if the conditions are right and I had a good, what I felt like was a good trainee, I think I'd be more than happy to do that. So let's talk. But anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe. Hey guys, do me a favor. If you know people, let them know about my channel. I'd like to get to a point where I can do some live videos. Apparently I have not met that criteria. I don't really know what that criteria is, but I can't do a live, and I would like to do a live and have some, I guess, questions and answers segment. So I do plan on doing every time I go home, try and hit a different beach, do a segment, a walk on the beach, and then I plan on still giving like some tips or things on how to make things maybe a little easier for you out here on the road. Little tips, whether it be maintenance wise or whatever. I may even go into one discussing a trailer, why a reefer trailer is built the way that it is. So yeah, all right, so that's my thoughts. Be sure again, hit that like and subscribe. I guess hit that little bell. I just learned about that. Hit that little bell so that you're notified when I post something new. So all right guys, thank you. Keep paying it forward, and we'll talk to you later on.